Hello students, this video content is the fourth part of the chapters Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. In this video we will discuss what changed after October Revolution, the civil war in Russia, consequences of the civil war, and finally making a socialist society in Russia. Page 39 to 42. What changed after October? First of all, you recall your memory that in previous chapter I explained about the three demands of the Lenin. That was known as April thesis. In the three demands of the Lenin, the first one was banks be nationalized, land be distributed, and war to be closed. Now, as you know, after the October Revolution, Lenin became the head of the Russia. So obviously, Lenin implemented all three demands in practically. So first of all, in Russia, most industries and banks were nationalized in November 1917. The government took over their ownership and management. Land was declared social property and peasants seized lands of the nobles. And Lenin declared peace immediately after coming to power and announced his decision to withdraw from the First World War. In this way, you have seen that immediately coming to power, Lenin implemented all three demands that he asked before the revolution. In cities, large houses were partitioned according to family requirements. And to establish equality in the society, banned the old titles of aristocrats. New uniform for army and officials were designed. Following a clothing competition organized in 1918, Soviet hat Budionka was chosen. The Bolshevik Party was renamed as the Russian Communist Party. In November 1917, the Bolsheviks conducted the elections to the Constituent Assembly, but they failed to gain majority support. In January 1918, the assembly rejected Bolshevik measures, and following their rejection, Lenin dismissed the assembly. Lenin thought that the All Russian Congress of Soviets was more democratic than an assembly elected in uncertain conditions. So in March 1918, the Bolsheviks made peace with Germany at Brest-Litovsk despite opposition from their political allies. Over the years, the Bolsheviks became the only party to participate in the elections to the All Russian Congress of Soviets, the parliament of the country. And finally, Russia became a one-party state. The secret police, called the Cheka first and OGPU and NKVD later, punished those who criticized the Bolsheviks. Trade unions were kept under party control. Many young writers and artists favored the party because they thought that it stood for socialism and change. However, many became disillusioned with the party because of the censorship that the party encouraged. Now we will discuss about the civil war, page 40. When the Bolsheviks ordered land redistribution, the Russian army began to break up. And the reason why the Russian army began to break up, actually soldiers, mostly peasants, wished to go home for the redistribution of land and they deserted. Non-Bolshevik socialists, liberals and supporters of autocracy condemned the Bolshevik uprising. Hence, within Russia, three groups emerged. They were Reds, Greens and Whites. The Reds meant Bolsheviks, the Greens meant Socialist Revolutionaries and the Whites meant pro-Tsarists. The Bolsheviks were the majority group of workers under the leadership of Lenin. During 1918 and 1919, the Greens and the Whites were pro-Tsarist, supporter of Tsarist, controlled most of the Russian Empire. They were backed by French, American, British and Japanese troops who were opposed to the growth of socialism in Russia. As these troops and the Bolsheviks fought a civil war, looting, banditry and famine became common in Russia. Supporters of the private property among whites took harsh steps with peasants who had seized land. And such actions led to the loss of popular support for the non-Bolsheviks. By January 1920, the Bolsheviks controlled most of the Russian Empire with the support of non-Russian nationalities and Muslim Jadidis. However, in Khiva in Central Asia, Bolshevik colonists brutally massacred local nationalists in the name of defending socialism. So, under these circumstances, non-Russian nationalists were confused about what the Bolsheviks represented. To remedy this, most non-Russian nationalities were given political autonomy in the Soviet Union. Autonomy means the right to govern themselves. But since this was combined with a compulsion to follow unpopular policies such as harsh discouragement of nomadism, therefore attempts to win over different nationalities were only partly successful. Nomadism means lifestyle of those who do not live in one place but move from area to earn their living. Now we will discuss about making a socialist society. Page 42. The Bolsheviks took the following steps for the establishment of a socialist society in Russia. The Bolsheviks kept industries and banks nationalized. They permitted peasants to cultivate the land that had been socialized. A process of centralized planning was introduced which worked in the following manner. Number one, officials assessed how the economy could work and on the basis of assessment set targets for a 5-year period. Second, 5-year plans were formulated and the government fixed prices of all goods to promote industrial growth during the first two plans. Next, centralized planning led to economic growth, industrial production increased and new factory cities came into being. However, rapid reconstruction led to poor working conditions. Workers lived hard lives and this led to frequent stoppages in work. In living quarters in the winter time at 40 degrees below, people had to climb down from the 4th floor and dash across the street in order to go to the toilet. So there were many problems were existed regarding the workers. So now we will discuss what steps taken by the government to improve the conditions of the workers. Number one, an extended schooling system was developed and factory workers and peasants were encouraged to enter universities. Creches were established in factories for the children of women workers. Cheap public health care was provided. Model living quarters were set up for workers. But the effect of all above measures was uneven because government resources were limited. And finally, in Russia, a new government known as the Council of People's Commissars was formed. The Bolshevik government crushed the opponents of revolution by adopting strict repressive measures. And finally, on July 16, 1918, Tsar Nicholas II, along with his wife Tsarina Alexandra and other family members, were shot dead. Same as you read in French Revolution, that Louis XVI, along with his wife, was guillotined in France. Same fate happened with the Tsar Nicholas II and his wife and other family members.